Are you tired of lackluster harvests despite all your hard work? What if I told you the secrets to a garden overflowing with produce aren't in the latest trends, but in wisdom lost to time? We're about to uncover 7 forgotten gardening hacks that will radically transform your yield, unlocking the maximum potential of your plants. Here's the truth that most gardening advice won't tell you. More water, more fertilizer, and more space don't automatically equal more harvest. In fact, this more is better mentality might be the very thing sabotaging your garden's potential. Our ancestors understood something we've forgotten in our rush toward modern convenience, that plants thrive under specific types of beneficial stress and strategic limitations that actually trigger explosive growth and abundant fruiting. What if everything you thought about maximizing yield was wrong, and just a few counterintuitive tweaks could multiply your harvest beyond what you ever imagined possible? The techniques I'm about to share have been tested across centuries, quietly producing extraordinary results while modern gardeners struggle with average yields. These aren't complex methods requiring expensive equipment or chemicals. They're elegant solutions that work with nature's own systems. Hack 1: The lazy watering secret for deeper roots. You know, the conventional wisdom tells us to water frequently and evenly, but this approach actually creates weak, shallow root systems that can't access deep soil nutrients or survive drought conditions. The forgotten technique that transforms this dynamic is called drought cycling, a method where you deliberately allow the soil to dry out between deep, thorough waterings. When you water deeply but infrequently, you force your plants to send their roots down into the subsoil, where they discover untapped reserves of minerals and moisture. This creates incredibly resilient plants with extensive root networks that can pull nutrients from a much larger soil volume. The secret is timing your watering cycles to match your plant's natural stress responses. For most vegetables, this means watering thoroughly when the top 2 to 3 inches of soil are dry, then allowing that same depth to dry again before the next watering. The magic really happens in those so-called dry periods. That's when plants release chemical signals that trigger rapid root expansion and activate those dormant root hairs. They also start producing higher concentrations of sugars and essential oils, which, translates directly into better flavor and much longer storage life. Tomatoes grown this way often show, 30 to 40% higher yields, with dramatically improved taste compared to those kept constantly moist. Hack 2: Soil life activation, which goes way beyond just NPK. While modern gardening tends to obsess over nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium numbers, ancient gardeners understood that soil is actually a living ecosystem. And honestly, healthy soil biology can manufacture and deliver nutrients far more effectively than any synthetic fertilizer out there. The forgotten art really lies in awakening and feeding the microscopic workforce that lives right in your soil. We're talking about bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and nematodes that form nature's own nutrient delivery system. The technique involves creating what's called microbial tea using specific combinations of organic materials that different soil organisms crave. A simple version just combines aged compost, kelp meal, and molasses in water, but the real secret is timing these applications to coincide with your plant's growth phases. During vegetative growth, you feed the bacteria with simple sugars and proteins. Then, during flowering and fruiting, you shift to feeding the fungal networks with complex carbohydrates and minerals. This biological approach doesn't just feed your plants, it creates a soil environment so rich and active that plants can access nutrients that would otherwise remain locked up in the soil. Gardens using this method often see yield increases of 50 to 70% while simultaneously improving soil structure, water retention, and disease resistance. The soil literally becomes more fertile each season as the microbial populations establish themselves. Hack 3: Strategic plant sacrifices for abundant growth. This might sound counterintuitive, but one of the most powerful forgotten techniques involves deliberately removing healthy growth to trigger explosive production in the remaining plant structure. Ancient gardeners understood that plants have built-in survival mechanisms that activate when they perceive threats to their reproductive success. The key is understanding exactly what to remove and when. For indeterminate tomatoes, removing the lower leaves once fruit sets forces the plant to concentrate all its energy into fruit development rather than maintaining unnecessary foliage. For squash and cucumber families, pinching off the growing tips after a certain number of fruits have set causes the plant to pour all its resources into sizing up existing fruits rather than continuing to produce new ones. The timing is crucial. Too early, and you stunt the plant's overall development. Too late, and you miss the window when this stress response can dramatically boost yields. The forgotten wisdom lies in reading your plant's signals. When you see the first flowers beginning to develop small fruits, that's your cue to begin strategic removal. This technique can increase individual fruit size by 40 to 60% while concentrating the harvest into a more manageable time frame. These 7 forgotten techniques represent centuries of gardening wisdom that can transform your harvest starting this season. The beauty of these methods lies not just in their effectiveness but in their simplicity. They work with natural plant processes rather than fighting against them, creating gardens that become more productive and resilient over time. Whether you're planning for next season or looking to optimize your current late summer crops, implementing even one of these techniques can show dramatic results. Start with the method that resonates most with your current challenges, whether that's improving soil life, optimizing watering schedules, or beginning to save your own seeds. The path to maximum yield isn't found in the latest gardening gadgets or expensive fertilizers. It's hidden in the time-tested wisdom of gardeners who understood that working with nature's own systems creates abundance beyond what force and artificial inputs can achieve. Your most productive garden is waiting to be unlocked using knowledge that's been hiding in plain sight. Don't forget to subscribe to Smart Garden for more forgotten techniques and time-tested wisdom, and share this video with fellow gardeners who are ready to discover what their plots are truly capable of producing. The revolution in your garden starts with the first technique you choose to implement, so pick one. Start today, and prepare to be amazed by what's possible when ancient wisdom meets modern gardens.